Part 1 was the mirror. We looked at the man you inherited, your ego as an armor. We looked at emotional escape, control disguised as leadership, and the excuses men use when good intentions are not enough. And now we move on into Part 2, the rebuild. This is where awareness becomes practice, because seeing the pattern is not the same as changing the pattern. A man can know he gets defensive and still keeps defending. A man can know he avoids emotions and still keep escaping. A man can know he controls the room and still call it leadership. He can know he hurts his family and still hide behind his intentions. So the rebuild is about tools, emotional language. We're working on repair, listening, vulnerability, partnership, co-parenting, maturity. This part of the series is for men ready to stop explaining who they meant to be and start practicing who their family needs them to be. No shame, no performance, no perfect manhood, just complete honest work. So welcome to the Evolution of Man, a series from 15 Minutes with Dad. You can follow 15 Minutes with Dad on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Join our weekly call-ins, community support on Discord at 15 Minutes with Dad. And you can email me directly at Lirec, L-I-R-E-C, at 15minuteswithdad.com. This is part 2, the rebuild. Let us begin. Almost too often, a man hears pain and reaches for a solution. His partner says, "I feel alone." His immediate response would be, "What do you want me to do?" Or his child says, "I had a bad day." He says, "Look, you need to toughen up." Or his co-parent says, "This process is not working." His response is, "Then tell me exactly what you want." His friend says, "Hey, brother, I'm struggling." He says, "Here's what I would do." The man thinks he is helping. The person speaking feels missed, because sometimes pain does not need a quick answer. Sometimes pain needs a witness. A man who only knows how to fix can accidentally make people feel like their emotions are a problem to solve and not a problem to understand. And this is where many good men lose connection, lose relationships. They respond to distress with strategy. They respond to sadness with instruction. They respond to fear with logic. They respond to loneliness with a checklist. They respond to emotional honesty with productivity. Then they wonder why people stop opening up. The issue is not that men care too little. Many men care very deeply. The issue is that caring often comes out as control, correction, or problem solving before connection. Listening is not passive. Listening is emotional labor. Listening is restraint, humility. It's strength that does not need to prove itself right away. Welcome back to 15 Minutes with Dad. I am Lirec Williams. This is episode 8 of the Evolution of Man. The title is The Strength to Listen, Why Men Must Learn to Hear Pain Without Fixing. In episode 7, we talked about repairing after rupture. We examined what it takes for men to rebuild trust after harm through ownership, change behavior, and consistency. Today, we take the next step. We talk about listening, not surface listening, not waiting for your turn, not listening for a flaw in somebody's argument, not listening so you can defend yourself, and not listening so you can prove you already understand. Real listening, the kind that lets another person feel emotionally held, the kind that slows the room down, that tells a child, "Your feelings are not too much for me," the kind that tells your partner, "Your pain does not threaten my identity," and the kind that tells your co-parent, "Our child matters more than my need to win this exchange." Modern fatherhood requires this skill. Research continues to show that father warmth, responsiveness, and positive engagement relate to stronger social and emotional development in children. Listening sits inside that work. A father cannot be emotionally responsive to a feeling he is trying to rush past. A partner cannot feel safe with a man who treats pain like an inconvenience. A co-parent cannot build stability with someone who hears every concern as criticism. So today, we rebuild the listening muscle. Why men move too quickly to fixing. Many men were trained to find the answer. At work, answers matter. In crisis, answers matter. When bills are due, answers matter. When the car breaks down, answers matter. When a child feels unsafe, it matters. Solutions have value. They have a place in our lives. The problem begins when every emotional moment gets treated like a broken object. Sadness, fear, loneliness, grief, emotional pain, these are not broken objects. Emotional pain often needs presence before advice. And many men fix because fixing feels useful, feels valuable. Fixing gives us a role in our kids' life, in our partners, in our co-parents' life. Fixing also gives us control. It protects us from feeling helplessness. Fixing lets us avoid sitting with another person's pain because that can be uncomfortable. The feeling is because if I can solve it, I do not have to feel it with you. And that sentence is very deep. Some men are not fixing because they're cold. They are fixing because helplessness feels unbearable. A child cries and the dad wants to stop the crying. A partner shares the pain and the man wants to end the discomfort. A co-parent raises a concern and the man wants to close the issue. A friend opens up and the man wants to hand over a plan. The deeper truth might be, I do not know what to do with the pain I cannot control. That is the honesty behind it. It is also where growth can begin. I want to start by telling you that listening is not agreement. Many men resist listening because they think listening means surrender. It does not. Listening does not mean I agree with every word. Listening doesn't mean you are right and I am wrong, or I lose authority or my needs disappear. Listening means I care enough to understand before I respond. That is it. Nothing too crazy. That's it. Understanding before responding is emotional maturity. You can listen to your child and still hold the boundary. You can listen to your partner and still share their perspective and share your perspective. You can also listen to your co-parent and still disagree. Those two truths can exist at the same time. You can listen to criticism and still maintain dignity. Listening creates clarity. Defense creates confusion and problems. A man who refuses to listen because he fears losing power has already allowed fear to lead the conversation. Strong men hear pain without collapsing, feedback without attacking, and can hear emotion without immediately managing it. Strong men can say, "Help me understand." That is not a weakness, that's simply leadership. Let's talk about what your family needs before solutions. Because before solutions, people often need 4 things, one of the 4 things at least. They need to feel heard. They need to feel believed enough for their experience to matter. They need to feel emotionally safe, and they need to feel that the relationship matters more than the answer. A partner who says, "I feel alone," may not need a task list first. She might need you to ask, when have you been feeling most alone? What have I been missing? What connection feel like this week? A child who says, "I hate school," may not need a speech about education first. They may need you to ask, what happened today? Who made it hard? Or what part feels the heaviest? From a co-parent's perspective, this communication is not working. May not need a counter example first. They might need you to ask, what part of the process keep breaking down? What information do you need to share sooner? Or how do we keep this inner child, this child-centered? Listening before fixing helps you solve the real issue. Rushing to fix often solves the issue you assumed they had. And that mistake creates confusion or frustration. The person says, "You are not listening." You would say, "I'm trying to help." Both are true. You are trying to help. And you are helping, but you are helping the wrong part first. In relationship research and clinical practice, one common communication principle is simple. Focus on understanding before defending and solving. A 2025 Washington Post article on relationship communication summarizes plainly. It advised listeners to focus on understanding their partner instead of defending themselves. It also noted that waiting until resentment hardens makes repair harder. The Gottman Institute's relationship work often points toward repair, friendship, and emotional connection, and understanding as central parts of stable relationships. Understanding must come before advice. For fathers, this principle matters because children learn emotional regulation through relationships. A child in distress needs more than correction. They need co-regulation. That means the adult helps the child calm, name what is happening, and choose what comes next. A father who rushes to fix might skip the co-regulation step. He might say, "Stop crying, calm down, it's not a big deal. Here is what you should have done." Those statements might come from care. The child may experience them as dismissal. A more emotional response, father might say, is, "I see this hit you hard," or "Take a breath with me. Tell me what happened. Look, I'm going to help you through this." We will talk about choices after we understand the feeling. That's listening as leadership. You're not surrendering structure. You are creating enough safety for structure to land properly. So let's be honest, the men are talking about this more. In fatherhood forums, relationship spaces, and public parenting conversations, one pattern keeps appearing. Dads say they want to help, but their partner says they are emotionally unavailable. Fathers say they give advice, but their children stop talking. Men say they are problem solvers, but their relationships still feel disconnected. Some men even admit that in their work life, solving quickly gets rewarded. That at home, the same habit creates distance. There's a Reddit discussion about active listening captured this tension from the relationship side. One commenter described listening to people vent at work, even when he already knew the solution, because he understood people needed to explain, process, and feel heard first. That is a skill fathers need at home. You might know the answer before your child finishes the story. Let them finish. You might know the advice before your partner finishes the sentence. Let her finish. You might see the process problem before your co-parent finishes her concern. Let them finish. Speed is not always care. Sometimes speed communicates impatience. But listening says, "I am not in a hurry to get past your feelings." That is a powerful message in your family structure. Now I want to talk about why fixing can even feel dismissive. Let's take a quick pause for a moment. If this podcast has helped you slow down, see something different, or show up better as a dad, I want to ask you to do one simple thing for me. Take a second and rate 15 Minutes with Dad on whatever platform you're listening on right now. Those ratings help this work reach more fathers who are trying to do better, more men who are trying to be greater in their families' lives. And if you're having a meaningful moment, an awesome conversation with your kids, a breakthrough, or even a hard lesson that you're learning and want to share it on social media and tag us at 15 Minutes with Dad. And I read them. They matter a lot to me. And they remind other dads they're not doing this alone. All right? Let's get back to it. And it can feel dismissive for 5 reasons. First, fixing often skips the feeling altogether. The person brings the pain, you bring instruction, the emotional needs get untouched. Second, fixing can sound like judgment. The person hears, "You should have handled this better." Third, fixing can center your discomfort. You want the pain to end because it makes you uncomfortable. Fourth, fixing can make the person feel alone. They want a connection, but they got a plan. And lastly, fixing can silence future honesty. If every emotional share becomes advice, the person may decide it is easier to keep pain private. That is how disconnection grows, not always through cruelty, sometimes through premature solutions. And if you take this into account for fathers out there with teenagers, this is definitely one that has hit home with me most of the time. I learned that my daughter doesn't always need an answer. Sometimes she just wants me to listen. So now I just ask her, what do you want? Would you like for me to listen, or would you like advice? I use this throughout my life at different moments because I'm very good at giving advice. Very, very good at it. I spend a lot of my time teaching and giving advice to different people. And this is a skill set that I'm working on, but I've gotten better at over time. Children need fathers who listen without rushing them out of emotions. This does not mean fathers become permissive. It means fathers sequence the moments correctly. Connection first, understanding second, guidance third, boundary fourth, when needed. A child says, I hate my teacher. A rush response says, do not talk like that. A listening response would say, you sound upset. What happened with your teacher today? Then later, we still need to talk respectfully, but I want to understand the feeling first. Or a child might say, I do not want to go to practice. A rushed response would say, you are going, end of story. But a listening response says, what is making practice feel hard right now? And then later you can come back with, we made a commitment, we are going to honor it, and I also want to understand what support you specifically need. A child may say, you never listen. A rushed response would be, yes, I do. A listening response says, that is hard to hear, but I want to know when it feels that way. Then stop. Let the child answer. These questions aren't just frivolous. Let them answer. You do not need to agree with every word to learn from the pattern. Children often use broad words like always, never, because they do not yet have precise language for repeated emotional experience. So do not debate the word first. Understand the pain underneath. Now let's talk about listening skills with partners. When you're listening with a partner, it requires self-control because partner feedback touches identity. A partner's pain often makes a man feel accused. She thinks I'm failing. She thinks I do nothing. She do not see how hard I work. She only focused on what is missing. Those thoughts might appear quickly, but name them internally and then return to listening. You can try these phrases to help you out. Help me understand what has felt heavy, or I want to hear this without defending myself. What did you need from me in that moment? What have you stopped asking for because of how I responded? What would support look like this week? Or what part have I been missing? Those questions did not make you guilty, they make you available. A partner does not only need your solution, a partner needs to feel that her inner world matters to you. It's emotional intimacy, not just sex, not just bills, not just shared parenting, being known, being heard, being able to bring truth without losing closeness. Listening does not mean absorbing disrespect. Now, this part is critical. Some men hear episodes like this and think, so I'm supposed to just let people talk to me any kind of way? No. Listening does not remove boundaries, does not mean accepting insults, does not mean tolerating manipulation, or staying in a conversation where someone is attacking, threatening, or degrading you. Healthy listening requires healthy boundaries. You can say, I want to understand you, and I need us to lower the tone. I am available for the concern, but I am not available for name calling. I want to keep this child-centered, or I need a pause so I can stay respectful. I will return at 7:30. I hear that you are upset. I will continue this when we have been, or both can speak clearly. Boundaries protect listening. Without boundaries, listening becomes emotional absorption. And that is not the goal. The goal is not for men to become silent containers for everyone else's pain. The goal is for men to become grounded enough to listen, respond, and set limits without defensiveness and control. So here is a framework for this episode. I call it the listening ladder. Use it when someone brings pain, feedback, or emotions to you. Step 1, stop solving. Stay grounded. Do not try to solve it. Say eternally, this is not the solution moment yet. Put down the phone, face the person, relax the jaw, let them finish. Step 2, reflect on the feeling. Use a simple sentence. You felt alone? You felt dismissed? You felt scared. You felt unsupported. You felt like I didn't care, or you felt overwhelmed. You felt unheard. This shows you're listening beneath the words. Step 3, ask for the story. So what happened? When did it start feeling this way? Or like, what did my response communicate to you? Or what do you need from me in that moment? Step 4 is very important that you validate that experience. Validation is not total agreement. It means the experience makes sense from where they stand. So try. I can understand why that felt hurtful. I can see why you feel alone in that moment, or I can see what made the communication harder. I understand why that mattered to you. And step 5, ask before advising. Do you want me to just listen, help you think about it, or offer a solution? This one sentence can change the conversation. It gives the person dignity, gives you clarity, it gives your help. It keeps your help from becoming pressure. And step 6, respond with care. If they want listening, stay present. If they want help thinking, ask questions. If they want a solution, offer one. Now your advice arrives through connection, not over it. I'll say that again. Your advice arrives through connection, not over it. So advice after listening feels more supportive. But before listening, it often feels dismissive. So I have 3 sentences I want men to practice. Sentence 1, help me understand ... Sentence 2, that makes sense from your experience. And sentence 3, do you want me to listen or to help solve? These 3 sentences create space. They slow the ego, they reduce defensiveness, and they teach your family that your strength can sit still. Now I want to take a second to pause and think. Who in your life has stopped telling you the truth? Your child, your partner, co-parent, friend, sibling, employee, yourself? Now ask, did they stop because the problem went away, or did they stop because your response made honesty too expensive? Think about the last time someone brought you their pain. Did you listen, or did you try to fix? Did you understand it? Did you explain? Did you ask, or did you assume? Did you stay present, or did you move the conversation toward your comfort? The strongest men are not always the ones with the answer. Sometimes the strongest man in the room is the one who can hear pain without making himself the center of it. So this week, practice one listening conversation. Choose one person, your child, partner, co-parent, a friend, a family member, and ask one question. What is something you have needed me to hear better? Then use the listening ladder. Stop solving, reflect the feeling. Ask for the story, validate the experience, ask for advising, and respond with care. And your goal is not to defend, it's not to solve, it's just to understand. After the conversation, write three lines down. What did I hear? What did I want to defend against? What did I learn by staying present? And that's the work of practice. A man who only knows how to fix can make emotions feel like problems instead of truths. Sometimes pain does not need a quick answer. Sometimes pain needs a witness. Speed is not always care. Sometimes speed communicates impatience. Listening is strength that does not need to prove itself right away. Advice after listening feels supportive. Advice before listening often feels dismissive. A father cannot be emotionally responsive to a feeling he is trying to rush past. The strongest man in the room might be the one who can hear pain without making himself the center of it. Your family does not always need your answer first. Sometimes they need your attention first. Understanding is not surrender, it is leadership. Your strength becomes safer when it learns how to listen. Men are often trained to solve. Solving has value, but connection needs more than solutions. Your child needs guidance, and they also need to feel heard. Your partner needs support, and she also needs to feel understood. Your co-parent needs solutions, and the communication still needs maturity. Your family needs your leadership, and your leadership must include listening. The goal is not to stop being useful, it's simply just to become useful in the right order. Presence first, understanding second, guidance third, solutions when needed. That order builds trust. A man who listens does not become weaker. They become safer, clearer, and easier to trust because he's more connected to the people he says he loves. So episode 9 is called Vulnerability Without Collapse and how men share pain without making others carry it. We will talk about the difference between honest vulnerability, emotional dumping, and shame spiraling, and responsible openness. Make sure you follow us at 15 Minutes with Dad on all social media platforms and share this episode with a man who always tries to fix what first needs to be heard. This is 15 Minutes with Dad. I am Lirec Williams. Stop solving first, listen with strength, and keep rebuilding. Before you move on, let's pause here, because growth doesn't happen in the listening. It happens in what you choose next. So you don't need to change everything. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Stay present long enough to practice something different. So carry this into your home, into those small moments, the hard conversations, and the quiet decisions no one applauds. That's where fatherhood is built. And if something here resonated, let it become action. Let it become consistency, or become the way that you lead. Because this is how trust is formed. This is how safety is felt, and this is how generational change actually happens. And if this episode helps you, share it with another father who's trying to do better. And if you have a story, a win, or a lesson you're learning, email me at Lirec, Lirec, at 15minuteswithdad.com. That's Lirec at 15minuteswithdad.com. Because this work grows through shared experiences.